then your younger sister informed me after saying 2 to 3 words to just their engagement, and the last thing it would be my responsibility to take the wedding speech. So I'm going to do it. It's going to be long, so just please be patient. Okay, that's it. I'm not sure how many perfect matches have been made at Giuliano's over the years, but I can say for certain that this is one of them. For those of you who don't know, Amy and Jeremy crossed paths at their 10-year high school reunion. And between the two of them, as you can see, and their North End friends and their South End friends have pretty much taken over New Rochelle since that time. I swear, since meeting Jeremy, we've yet to enter a public place in the county of Westchester without bumping into one of his buddies, or at least someone he knows through that kid Kenny from softball, or something like that. And his popularity is not surprising. And I don't have to tell you all that Jeremy is quite simply the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Always smiling, always kind, always easygoing, always accommodating. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever met someone quite like him. I don't think the word no is in his vocabulary. And it's not because he's a pushover. It's because he genuinely wants to do the right thing by everyone all the time. That is unless it involves missing a softball playoff game. And I know it seems to roll off this tongue quite easily. Nobody's perfect. On a serious note, he's much more than I could ever want in a brother-in-law. And I truly feel like our family has hit the jackpot. You, Jeremy. You, Jeremy, and only you can I imagine making Amy as happy as I have seen her over the past few years. We're so perfectly matched for her. I can remember when she was dating and I would think to myself, this guy is not even close to being the right guy. And I didn't know exactly what the right guy was or if he existed. I just knew he had to be someone as caring and kind and selfless as Amy. And of course taller than her when she was wearing her heels. And then you popped up. And before I even met you on our triple date at the beach lot, I just knew you were the one. Since then, you've proven yourself over and over in good times and in pretty bad times. You've been there for Amy. You've been a rock in her life, and I love you for that. Now, Amy. How do I begin to describe Amy? I've already said caring, kind, and selfless, and we all know she's pretty much just wonderful. But before I get to the mushy stuff, many of you may not know Amy very well, so I thought I should just get everybody up to speed on the past 31 years by quickly sharing some things about her. So I've come up with 5 kind of sketchy things about her, and 5 rather charming things. So first, the sketchy thing. As a toddler, Amy used to eat sticks of butter under the table. One time, she ran over Courtney's leg with a car. It was an accident, but still. In first grade, she stuffed all her homework assignments into her desk and thought no one would realize. 4, we all know Amy loves fashion, but it didn't always love her back. Perfect example. Picture this: turquoise and green blazer skirt suit with full shoulder pads, nude pantyhose, and matching flats. Made her look like a 40-year-old banker. And I couldn't really think of a 5th one except for the fact that she always had a totally irrational fear of minnows. Okay. Alright, now 5 charming things. Amy was great at learning the various dance routines I choreographed in our living room. She would practice as many times as I asked, and she never commented on how creative they were. 2, Amy was a great sleeping partner. Even though there was plenty of space, somehow we all ended up sleeping side by side in our bright red metallic bunk beds. She never kicked or snored or stole the covers. I'd give anything for that these days. Amy had a unique sense of humor and went through an interesting joke writing phase. Her most memorable joke was, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" The punchline was, "Dot to dot, dot to dot." She thought that was hilarious. I don't know. Number 4, one time in Cape Cod, we all got gumball machines with our names on them and cute sayings written across the glass, like Stephanie's Sweets and Courtney's Candies. The only thing the lady could think of was Amy's appetizers. We knew she was disappointed, but she handled it really well. And 5, Amy always loved animals. On our first and only winter vacation, while I was frying myself in the sun, Courtney was watching TV in the hotel room. Amy was tending to the stray dog population of Cozumel by carrying them individually to the ocean to clean their paws in the water. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page, let me just take a minute to describe the woman Amy has grown to be. She was always giving, supportive, caring, and kind, and she still is. More than anything, she's present. She's there when you need her, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's impossible for me to express all the ways she's been there for me when I've needed her. This may seem silly, but when my son was just an infant and I had to go back to work and I felt sadder and guiltier than I ever had in my life, Amy was there. Amy was selfless. She sacrificed things in her own life, including her paycheck, to help me through that time. And I honestly don't know how I would have done it without knowing I had her to turn to. Someone who would drop anything at any time and love my son as much as I did. In fact, it's only now that Amy has been booked 24/7 with wedding planning that I realize just how much of her time Amy typically gives to the people in her life. It never makes you feel like it isn't exactly what she wants to be doing. She, like Jeremy, seems to give far more than she ever takes. She is, without a doubt, everything anyone could ever want in a sister. I'm certain I've taken this for granted, and I will do everything I can to be there for you when you need me, which I hope will be soon if you know what I mean, like when you have babies. Okay, so let's raise our glasses. Amy and Jeremy, I love you, and I wish you both all the joy and love you've given all of us. More importantly, Jeremy, I wish that one day, like our dad, you will be able to play in 140 and over 40 softball leagues at the same time. And of course, Amy, I hope that he only barely makes it to the playoffs.
Okay. If I wasn't nervous before I got up here listening to a 3-page speech by a woman that put a lot of effort into this, and I wrote mine yesterday at about 6:30, I'm nervous now. So I promise I'll keep it short because I know nobody really cares what I have to say anyway, and I need to get back to drinking before I pass out. So, let me just start off by saying thank you to Jeremy's parents, John and Noreen, and to Amy's parents, Ann and Ralph, for bringing us here and helping us in this beautiful occasion. But more importantly, let me say thank you to Jeremy, because based on the number of times I've seen Jeremy pass out with a beer in his hand while standing up, I'm assuming that the open bar was tonight. Quick story following up on the reunion. I remember we got together for the reunion, and about a week later, Jeremy and Amy go out on a date. And back then, MySpace was the big thing before Facebook took over. And being the ball breaker that I am, I immediately go on Amy's page and I write, "Amy, great to see you. I'm so glad that you and Jeremy are boyfriend and girlfriend now." Within an hour, I get a call from Jeremy. "Boji, what the hell are you doing?" Well, I guess as it turns out, Boji didn't know what he was doing. He was a bit of a visionary, and I just want to say I got it first. I've often heard that once a member of a group falls, that, at least when it comes to guys, that the groups often fall around them, and one guy gets married after the other. But given the scenario with me and John, considering we're both single, we made a pact that if we don't have an engagement by next year for one of us, that we're both just going to run off together and get married in California. And you guys are all invited. And John's paying. On a more serious note, John, Jeremy, and I have known each other since first grade, maybe even before that, and I don't really have a great memory. But there's been a lot of people that have come and gone in this group, and you know, some good additions and some not good additions, which you were apparently invited to the wedding tonight anyway. But through all the ups and downs, Jeremy has really been the rock of the group. He's always been the one that's been the peacemaker, and kind of when things weren't going right, he'd settle things between us, and you know, based on that, I mean, I don't really know what would happen with the group if it wasn't for Jeremy. So, you know, based on the fact that Jeremy is the way that he is, I know that these two are going to have a great life, because no matter what life ever throws at them, they'll work it out and they'll be better for it at the end of the day. So I just want to say, wrapping this up, to get John up here, because I know he's really excited to go. I just want to say congratulations and God bless the two of you, and that you get everything that you've ever hoped and dreamed for. And I'm not always the mushy type, but I do love you both tremendously.
Will someone call 911? Because I'm having chest pain. I don't think I can make it through. Listen, I was going to write a speech tonight, but for the fact that I've made 8 speeches for Jeremy, and this is his first marriage, I figure I'm a pro. Based on Noreen having me speak for Jeremy's 8th grade graduation, high school, his college graduation, 30th, that was a big one, I asked you for that one, and his engagement party, so basically I should be a pro. I was really honored when Jeremy asked me to be his best man. I mean, we've been friends forever, but I was still really honored. But I still remember what he said to me. He's like, if I did a really good job during this marriage, then I'd be the best man for a second marriage. I don't know. I'm only kidding. I was asking around since this was the first best man speech that I've had to make, and from what I heard is that the speech can't last longer than the groom, the length of how long he makes love. So we're gonna have to wrap it up. Thank you very much. But all seriousness, I've known Jeremy since nursery school when we had little bowl haircuts, which I had no clue what our parents would ever do. It didn't matter what time it was, it still didn't look good. We went to, we played Little League together, and Jeremy was our arch rival, and his team cheated my team out of Little League championship for probably 3 years, but that's a whole other story I'm not even going to get into that. We went to middle school together, we played high school baseball, he went off to college and so did I, and our friendship never went there. He just seems to be one of those guys who, no matter how far he went, he still is one of the greatest guys that I know. If you ever need something, Jeremy's always there for you. I mean, believe me, I've had plenty of times I've called him home. This speech is called the best man speech, but Jeremy's the best man. I'm only one of the best men. Because honestly, if I was the best man, maybe you'd be married me tonight. But, unfortunately, Jeremy's right there. I've been with Jeremy through a lot of different relationships that, went south. Just like mine. And once he started dating Amy, I could see the joy in his life. I can see that he could honestly really be himself around Amy, and that's one of the most important things. He didn't have to become somebody different or pretend to be somebody he wasn't. He could get hammered and throw up on his mother-in-law's couch. And yet, his fiancé at the time was, pretty cool with it. But all in all, Amy's a great girl, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, she's now stand here. I'm not going to stand here and say she's my sister, because I know that, everybody uses that, it's pretty cheesy, but I love Jeremy and I love Amy, and I'm happy they're together, and really happy that they make each other happy. And I want to make a toast of love, health, and happiness. I hope they get everything they want. I hope, honestly, I won't be the best man for any second, but cheers, guys.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our matron body, Stephanie, and our best man, John and Chris, and their beautiful words spoken.